All right, scouting. Just taking a look here. Anybody? Nope. Nobody on the report? Absolutely no one. Are you serious? I have had enough of this. Oh. Who are you? So after multiple tests and a lot of manual labor to figure out the best way to scout, we took what we've learned and put it into practice in my save on Twitch with Floridsdorfer, and we have come out with the results, and the results are a resounding, we got it right. We know how to scout, and I'm going to pass that information on to you. But first, I'm going to take you on a journey to my Instagram page, because I've been told I do a terrible job promoting the fact that I am on there, and I post stories of, video making process and me being me in general, cracking football manager jokes, the whole 9 yards. But I even share posts from the actual Floridsdorfer Instagram account from our Twitch save, and they're very nice people. They're actually about to get promoted, which was the most recent video I shared on Instagram, which made me think of doing this in the first place. So it just comes full circle, really. I'll see you there. Now for how to get you scouting appropriately. If you watch this video of our original test of scouting, or perhaps this video, which was our second test of scouting, then you'll know that region scouting is not particularly effective. If you haven't watched those videos, I would recommend it. This kind of works as a nice 3-part series where this is the end result. They're both going to be linked up there, so you can start with the first one and then, keep going. We set out to find the best way to scout that wasn't region scouting, and now we've applied it in the Floridsdorfer save, and we have seen very good results. To show you, we'll go to scouting, we'll go to assignments, and take a look at the assignments that we have so far. And the assignments are over on the right side. And you might notice we have 3 region scoutings still active. That's because we had this set for over a year, and those regions are particularly small, because what we've noticed is that scouts cannot actively scout large areas anymore. They do not have the ability, even when they are 20s at everything, to scout those large areas anymore. So if we have one scout, essentially, and we send them to West Africa, so we have this one scout and then all these arrows going off into West Africa, and oh my God, what's going on? And then we get nothing back, because something about all of those regions, it just doesn't work. They're not able to get to all of them and pay attention and do great things. Well, now what we do is we remove a lot of those arrows, and let's leave the arrow to Nigeria and Ghana and Ivory Coast, and that's it. Well, now you've got a whole different ball game when it comes to scouting, and immediately have a ton of effectiveness. Here's the example. On the Floridsdorfer save, right? And this was on a Monday. We did the test on a Friday, and then on Monday we sat down and switched things up. We have done region scouting for 2 years, essentially, in this save with very little effect. At the start of that stream on Monday, I sat down to adjust my scouting. We're going to take him off that. No more West Africa for you. We're going to do South America nation scouting, and we're going to start with Uruguay. South America, Uruguay. We're going to add Uruguay. We're going to add Paraguay, and we are going to add Bolivia. So we are going to nitpick the 3 kind of hidden people there, looking for scouted potential ability of superb and an age maxed at 23. That's your new job, Vasherize. Go get it. And then we are going to take South America South, right? Imbesh, who has great knowledge of this sort of stuff. Accent. All right. Nation. South America, Brazil. Nation. South America, Argentina. Nation. South America, Chile. Those three nations. Scouted potential ability is at least superb. Age is at most 23. We had region scouting set up, and we went, you know what? We're going to turn these into nation scouting. We'll assess each of the scouts, see how much knowledge they have accumulated. So in a place like Northern Europe, where we are accumulating knowledge, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, albeit very slowly, that is there. We're going to see if we can leave them on that. Or in Southern Europe, we do have good knowledge of some of the Southern European countries that we have been set to scout. We found players through that, and so we'll leave that person there. But the other areas that you can see from that clip where there isn't a lot of knowledge, there aren't a lot of reports, we wanted to change our approach, which means we were going to take somebody from South America South and literally just send them to Brazil, Argentina, and Chile, at which point they have already produced 3 reports in a month and a half, finding players with the exact same parameters I was looking for before, which for the record are, you got to be at 23 at most, and you got to have superb potential ability. And your transfer has to, fit into our budget. The whole automatic transfer thing that's up at the top, this thing. Because I wanted to cover all of South America, I've sent a third person, Vasherize, to Uruguay, Paraguay, and Bolivia. We then created a couple of extra groups. We sent one specifically to Portugal, which has been the most fruitful. That's literally given us 5 reports in a month from Portugal of these talented young players that could fit our budget. We sent another to Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and Bulgaria. That's already given us 3 reports. It's crazy. We sent somebody to Switzerland, Netherlands, Belgium. That's provided 5 reports already. And this is all in like a month. These report totals are crushing the reports that we were getting from region scouting for a much longer period of time. And the wild thing is that while we're going through this on stream, you can see when a person's in each country, right? When somebody moves from Brazil to Argentina, then we get those reports. And seriously, essentially every scouting report I was getting, we're getting a new player from one of these people. And because we're in that specific nation scouting, it is very easy and very specific in giving credit to who is providing that scouting report, the way that a couple of years ago it was in region scouting, when you go, oh, there's our Middle Eastern scout again. You go, oh, there's the person we have in Brazil and Argentina pulling out another wonder kid. There's the person we have in the Netherlands. There's the person we have in Romania and in Slovakia pulling out another wonder kid. So the adjustment to nation scouting is important. Here is how it actually works. When you create an assignment, you go into nation. You pick out the nations that you want to scout. If you want more information on that, here is a video about the regions tiers list, which I talk about the importance of nations. I'm going to try and remake that for this video's purpose. You can click that link up there to check that video out. It is important to know you can stack nations the way that you've seen me. So if you want to scout France and you want to scout Germany, right? You stack those nations. I wouldn't go over 4, right? Because if you go over 4 nations, that is just a rule of thumb that I'm kind of creating off the fly. I didn't go over 4 when I was making it. Then you seem to be going closer and closer to regional. If you go 5 or 6, try and make sure that they all speak the same language or have the same language that you can get buy-in, so that that scout can speak that language and get through, because we've proven in both those testing videos that being able to speak the language is huge. So you'll just want to set it up and identify the nations that you really want to go for. And I know what really stinks about this is that what region scouting was great at is finding those wonder kids from more obscure nations. If you're doing nation scouting, you're probably not going to skedaddle off to Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso as part of your nation regime, but you're going to miss having that one great player you got from Burkina Faso. And honestly, there's probably more than one great player from Burkina Faso that's out there to be signed, which means you should check national teams. This is the other magical thing in Football Manager that I honestly haven't recommended too much, but I have made multiple signings from this, and we got a huge boost at Floridsdorfer by signing no less than 7 players from the U20 World Cup to join our teams. And the more money you get, the more you can find these great players at every U20 World Cup. And it's not just the U20 World Cups. If you're looking for the even more obscure players, look at the youth tournaments in each continent. There's going to be one going on essentially every year. You just got to figure out where it is. They'll call up full teams. You ID the 16 or 17-year-old that's playing in the U20 World Cup, and you throw a 1-week scout on them. Just right-click the player, report, scout for a week. Easy stuff. And most of the time, the report will come back and say, hey, that dude's terrible. Every once in a while, the report will come back and say, hey, that dude's really good, and you just found them. So that's a way that you can continue to find great young players from obscure countries, even though you're not scouting there. And honestly, if there is a great young player from one of those types of countries, whether it be anywhere from Uzbekistan to Angola, they're probably going to be a feature part of the youth national teams, or maybe even the senior national team as a very young player. And so you can, maintain your eccentric wonder kids while also zeroing in on nation scouting. The region scouting just moves a lot slower. And honestly, I need to change like the Northern Europe region scout to just scouting the actual nations, because we've noticed such an incredible speed. The only one that I feel like is okay is Western Europe. There are like 4 countries in there: Andorra, Spain, Portugal, and France. That's it in the Western Europe scouting region. That's fine. So it functions essentially as a 4-way nation scouting. Everything else seems to have just moved very slowly in terms of knowledge accumulation. One last note of something that we're working on, we're still kind of testing, we don't know the exact effectiveness of it yet, is the difference between Intel Full Knowledge scouting and week-to-week scouting. This is something I was struggling with on stream. I want to do more tests on it, but just be wary that Intelful Knowledge Scouting might have at least some bugs with it if you set it up on the same day that you find somebody originally, or it might just move a lot slower than the week-to-week, which provides you not only updates on the progress of the scouting of the player, but seems to move at a more reliable pace than Intelful Knowledge. I want to test it more, and it's not for sure, but it's something I want you to be wary of as we figure out how to be efficient scouting in this game. So you want nation scouts that speak the language of the area they're going to. So if they're going to a country, check the language of that country. Make sure you got it covered. The last thing on this assignment screen that you might have to worry about is the duration. I'm going with until finished. It's going to take them a long time to get to 100% knowledge in all those nations anyways, but honestly, until finished, once they hit 100% knowledge, then, bounce them off somewhere else, bounce them back, or the worst case scenario, you can just restart that scouting job. I feel like ongoing might make them a little bit more complacent. The chat on stream was debating whether it was better to do until finished or ongoing. Nothing concrete yet, but I would go until finished because it just helps you stay on top of scouting more in general, and that is never a bad thing. It only took 2 extensive tests and a day of experimenting on stream to figure out how this works. And I think we have actually finally cracked it. If you want to watch the condensed version of the stream that we did figure all this out in, it's right here. That'll take you through to that stream, and you can check out the live channel from there as well. I'll see you on another video or another stream. Happy scouting. May you find many wonder kids.